Good morning everyone. Today I complete this chapter. In this class we are going to discuss sexually transmitted diseases, assisted reproductive technology and PU questions. Sexually transmitted diseases, also known as venereal diseases. So they transmitted during coitus, intercourse or physical union. Some are bacterial diseases, some are viral diseases, some are protozoan diseases. Gonorrhea. It is a bacterial disease caused by Neisseria gonorrhoeae. Neisseria gonorrhoeae caused the STD gonorrhea. Similarly, syphilis. Causative organism Treponema pallidum. It is also bacterial disease. Chlamydiasis caused by Chlamydia trachomatis. Chlamydia trachomatis is a bacteria, causes chlamydiasis. Viral diseases. HIV infection caused by HIV virus. Genital herpes. Herpes simplex virus. Genital warts. Human papilloma virus. Trichomoniasis. Trichomonas vaginalis. It is a protozoan. These three are bacterial diseases. Next three are viral diseases, and trichomoniasis, protozoan parasite, cause the trichomoniasis. Causative organism Trichomonas vaginalis. So sexually transmitted diseases, also known as venereal diseases. Gonorrhea, causative organism Neisseria gonorrhoeae. Syphilis, Treponema pallidum. Chlamydiasis, Chlamydia trachomatis. HIV infection, human immunodeficiency virus, HIV virus. Genital herpes simplex virus. Genital warts, human papilloma virus, nothing but cervical cancer. Trichomoniasis, causative organism Trichomonas vaginalis. So most of the sexually transmitted diseases are curable except HIV infection, genital herpes. One more is hepatitis B, causative organism hepatitis B virus. These three are not curable. Once they start suffering, they should suffer throughout the lifespan. You all know HIV infection, so leads to death. Death is unavoidable in case of HIV infection. In case of hepatitis B also, in some cases, death is unavoidable. So these three diseases are not curable, and the remaining diseases, sexually transmitted diseases, are curable. Initial symptoms of sexually transmitting diseases: swelling of genital organs, in both male and female, swelling of penis, swelling of vagina, labia majora, labia minora in case of female, itching sensation, fluid discharge. Fluid discharge are the initial symptoms: swelling of genital organ, itching, and fluid discharge with foul smell, with bad smell. In most of the female, sexually transmitted diseases are asymptomatic, no symptoms. After several years only, symptoms are seen. In female, final symptoms are pelvic inflammatory disease, inflammation in the pelvic region, abortions, stillbirth means a fetus dies in the uterus. By surgery only, they remove the died fetus from the uterus, known as stillbirth. Ectopic pregnancy, these are the final. So advanced symptoms, not initial. After several years, these symptoms are seen in female. What is ectopic pregnancy? Implantation of the blastocyst should take place in the uterus, but here implantation take place outside the uterus, maybe outer wall of uterus or fallopian tube. So at the time, no proper supply of nutrient, so automatically the developing fetus dies. Ectopic pregnancy, implantation not in the uterus, somewhere not in the uterus, known as ectopic pregnancy. These are the symptoms. So sexually transmitted diseases, also known as venereal diseases. So three diseases only not curable: HIV infection, genital herpes, and hepatitis B. Hepatitis B virus cause hepatitis B. So not only sexually transmitted, through blood transfusion also hepatitis B and HIV may spread from person to person. Not only sexual contact, through contaminated needles, syringes, or at the time of blood transfusion also, hepatitis B virus or HIV virus may infect the healthy human beings. medical termination of pregnancy known as MTP. So what is MTP? Intentionally or voluntarily remove the fetus before completion of gestation period is known as MTP. You already know gestation period is 9 months. So maybe they remove second month or third month voluntarily, intentionally. So that is known as medical termination of pregnancy. Voluntary removal of fetus before completion of total gestation period is known as MTP. What is gestation period? The time required for the development of young one within the uterus is known as gestation period. Medical termination of pregnancy. So medical termination of pregnancy is safe in first trimester. So medical termination of pregnancy is legalized in India in 1971 under certain conditions to prevent misuse of MTP. So in India, MTP legalized since 1971. So MTP is safe during first trimester, means first 3 months MTPs are safe. In second trimester also, sometimes medical practitioners do MTPs in second trimester in some legal cases. After divorce, the female may pregnant. So at the time, so the court also allowed to remove the fetus, or in rape case, the female is pregnant. At the time, they conduct MTP in second trimester also. So that's why in second trimester, in some legal cases, they are doing MTP. But MTP are safe during first trimester. Several quack means unexperienced, unskilled persons are doing MTPs in rural areas. As a result, maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate, in this case, maternal mortality rate increases. So some inexperienced persons are doing MTPs in rural areas. It leads to death of the mother. So increase the maternal mortality rate. So pregnancies are, every year 40 to 50 million MTPs. Every year 40 to 50 million MTPs, medical termination of pregnancies, are done in all over the world, and they are about 1/5 of total pregnancies. 20%, that means every year they are doing, the medical practitioners are doing 40 to 50 million MTPs every year, and they are about 20% or 1/5 of total pregnancies, even though you never considered it as a contraceptive method. Infertility. (15 to 30% young couple unable to produce children, it is known as infertility. 15 to 30% of young couple all over the world, including India, they are childless, means they are unable to produce children, that is known as infertility. So various reasons for infertility. In male, only 2 reasons. In male, 2 reasons. One reason is sperm count is less. Sperm count is less. You already know, at the time of ejaculation, they ejaculate 300 to 400, 3 to 4 ml of fluid semen. Each ml contain 100 million spermatozoa. That means in a single ejaculation, 300 to 400 million spermatozoa. Sperm count is less. Maybe instead 300 to 400, 100 ml or 50 ml. So if sperm count is less, so you already know 60% sperm should possess a normal shape. 40% of sperms should exhibit vigorous movement. Then only one spermatozoa participating in fertilization. So defect in males 2 mainly. One is sperm count is less. Second, sperm motility is less. Sperm motility is less. Movement of the sperm is less. These are the 2 conditions for infertility in males. Several conditions in female. In female, fallopian tubule tube closes. We all know fimbria of fallopian tube collect the secondary oocyte. The fallopian tube is closed. If the fallopian tube is closed, secondary oocyte or ovum fail to enter into ampulla. Even though sperms present in ampulla, no fertilization. Some female fail to release ova. Some females, in some females, phagocytosis of spermatozoa. Spermatozoa are foreign to female body. Whenever the sperms enter into female reproductive tract, so they are engulfed by phagocytic cells. And in some females, mucous membrane is thick. Cervical mucous membrane is thick. Cervical mucous membrane means mucous membrane is hostile for spermatozoa. Hostile means not suitable, so not receive. Cervical mucous membrane is thick. Cervical mucous membrane is thick, not receive the spermatozoa, no implantation. So in this manner, in female, several problems regarding infertility. Fallopian tubule is closed or failed to release ova. Next one, phagocytosis of spermatozoa. Cervical mucous membrane is thick, unable to receive the spermatozoa. So assisted reproductive technology. With the help of assisted reproductive technology, the childless couple may have child. Now we discuss various methods of assisted reproductive technology. Assisted reproductive technology. art. In vitro fertilization and intrauterine transfer. Defect may be male or female. In this case, they collect the spermatozoa from male partner, husband, and ova from the wife. Fertilization in the laboratory. In vitro means laboratory. In vivo means within the body. In vitro fertilization, and this procedure is known as the test tube baby procedure. So they develop zygote in the laboratory. So later, after 8 cell stage, zygote undergo cleavage. So what happened? One cell, zygote one cell, after first cleavage 2, second cleavage 4, third cleavage 8, fourth cleavage 16, fifth cleavage 32. So after 8 cell stage, they introduce the developing embryo within the uterus. So now the embryo attaches to uterus, further development take place. After gestation period, she give birth to young one. So that is in vitro fertilization and intrauterine transfer. Fertilization in the laboratory. Later they transfer the developing young one into the uterus. In the uterus, the developing young one attaches to wall of the uterus and undergo further development. So success rate only 20%. It is not mean that they introduce into uterus, each and every embryo attaches to wall of uterus, 20% only. So for example, this month they perform, so next month they observe whether the uterus, the embryo attaches to uterus wall or not. So if it is unable, again next time, in this manner, the success rate is only 20%. Success. So they repeat the same procedure 3 or 4 times. Then only the embryo attaches to the uterus. Next one is GIFT. ZIFT. Zygote intrafallopian transfer. Zygote intrafallopian. Zygote intrafallopian transfer. In this method also, they collect the spermatozoa from the husband, ovum from the wife, fertilization in the laboratory. Immediately, so after fertilization, zygote is formed. They insert the zygote in the fallopian tubule of wife. So from the fallopian tubule, the zygote enters into uterus, attaches to the wall of uterus. It is known as GIFT. Zygote intrafallopian transfer. Transfer of zygote into the fallopian tubule or oviduct fallopian tubule. So GIFT also, like in vitro fertilization, fertilization in the laboratory, test tube procedure. Immediately after formation of zygote, they insert the zygote into fallopian tubule of the wife. From the fallopian tubule, the zygote enter into uterus, attaches to wall of uterus, undergo implantation, later undergo further development. Zygote intrafallopian transfer. Next one is GIFT. Gamete intrafallopian transfer. Gamete intrafallopian transfer. gamete intrafallopian transfer. So defect in the female unable to release secondary oocyte, but her uterus is suitable, fallopian tubule and uterus is suitable for the development, fertilization and development of the young one. At the time they collect the gamete from the donor and insert the gamete into the fallopian tubule of the wife. So after coitus, the spermatozoa fuses with secondary oocyte in the fallopian tubule, zygote is formed. So from the fallopian tubule, the zygote enter into the uterus, implantation. After gestation period, she give birth to young one. That young one contain 50% genes of her husband and 50% genes of the donor, not mother. So that is the gift, gamete intrafallopian transfer. So if defect present in female, particularly the female, some female fail to release gametes, at the time they opt this method, gamete intrafallopian transfer. They collect the secondary oocyte from the donor and transfer the secondary oocyte into the fallopian tubule of the wife. So later after copulation, fertilization, implantation, gestation, she give birth to young one. That young one contain 50% genes of her husband and 50% genes of the donor, not her genes. Gamete intrafallopian transfer. Next one is artificial insemination, AI. Artificial insemination. Sometimes the sperm motility is low in the husband. At the time they collect the spermatozoa from the husband or donor. Sometimes the husband unable to release gametes. So they collect the spermatozoa of husband or the donor and directly inserted into the female reproductive tract. So later fertilization, implantation, gestation period, she give birth to young one. So if the defect in the male partner, they use artificial insemination. So mobility of the sperm may decrease or the sperm count is less. At the time they opt this method. They collect the spermatozoa from husband and directly inserted into the female reproductive tract is known as artificial insemination. Next one is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Defect in the male partner. Defect in the male partner. In the semen, only few spermatozoa or motility of the spermatozoa is very low. At the time they collect the spermatozoa from the husband and directly insert that spermatozoa into cytoplasm of the secondary oocyte in the laboratory. That is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So in the laboratory what happens? Zygote is formed. Before 8 cell stage they may inserted into the fallopian tubule. After 8 cell stage they may inserted into the uterus. Artificial insemination, intracytoplasmic sperm injection, defect in the male partner. At the time they use these two methods. Gift, defect in the female partner, the female unable to release the gametes. So in vitro fertilization, intrauterine transfer or gift may be defect in both, may be male or female parent. Means male or husband and wife, maybe either husband or wife. So assisted reproductive technology. Assisted reproductive technology, in vitro fertilization and intrauterine transfer. they collect the spermatozoa from the husband, ovum from the wife. Fertilization in the laboratory, it is known as a test tube procedure. IVF, IUT and in vitro fertilization known as a test tube procedure, means fertilization in the laboratory. In case of ICSI also fertilization in the laboratory only. So in the laboratory. Later, after, so zygote is formed. Zygote undergo cleavage. After 8-cell stage, inserted into the uterus. So that is in vitro fertilization and intrauterine transfer. So chances of success is only 20%. In all 20% only. In vitro fertilization. Second one is GIFT, zygote intrafallopian transfer. Procedure is same. They collect the spermatozoa from husband and ovum from the wife. Fertilization in the laboratory. So later they transfer the zygote into fallopian tubule. So that is GIFT. Gamete intrafallopian transfer. Some female unable to release gametes. At the time they opt this method, but fallopian tubule, uterus is healthy for transfer of ova, implantation and favorable condition for the development of young one. In such female, they opt this method. They collect the gamete from donor, inserted into the fallopian tube. So fertilization is in vivo. In vivo means within the female here. In vivo means within the body. So fertilization within the female. After transfer, copulation. So fertilization, implantation, gestation. After gestation, she give birth to young one. That young one contain 50% of her husband and the 50% genes of the donor, not mother genes. Artificial insemination. In some males, sperm count is less or motility or mobility is less. At the time they collect the sperms from husband and inserted into the female reproductive tract directly into the fallopian tube. That is artificial insemination. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Defect in the male. The sperm count is very less or movement is very less. In that case, they collect the spermatozoa from the husband and directly inserted into the cytoplasm of the ovum. It is known as intracytoplasmic sperm injection. As a result, zygote is formed. Later, they insert the zygote into the fallopian tubule or 8-cell stage, after 8-cell stage into the uterus. So these are the some techniques of assisted reproductive technology. Now we discuss PU questions. So what do you think is the significance of reproductive health in a society? The people in a society are well-being in all aspects of reproduction, that is socially, physically, emotionally, behaviorally. Such a society, the people of such a society, free from the misconceptions of reproductive organs. Next one, suggest the aspects of reproductive health which need to be given attention in the present scenario. So the government institutions and non-government institutions should develop awareness. So regarding misconceptions of reproduction, so that is female is responsible for giving male or female child. That is not correct. The male partner, male human being is responsible for son or daughter. So female is not responsible. So by giving the total information, so like this, you already know 22 pairs of autosomes present in male X and Y. In female, 22 pairs of autosomes XX. At the time of gamete formation, 22X. So meiosis, 22 autosome move to one pole, X move to one pole. The remaining 22 move to one pole, Y move to another pole. From the male, two types of gametes are formed. From the female, only one type. 22 autosome move to one pole. The remaining 22 move to another pole. One X move to one pole, another X move to another pole. Means the same. All gametes contain 22X. If the sperm contain X, participating in fertilization, develop into female. If the sperm contain Y, participating in fertilization, develop into male. So female has no role in sex determination, but still today in rural areas they blame the female for giving male or female child. So generally they blame for giving female child. So misconcepts. Similarly, they should educate the structure of reproductive organs. Changes occur during adolescence. Similarly, abortion, childbirth, pregnancy, what type of precaution they should take, what type of food. So we have to provide to pregnant women. So how to minimize maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate. So advantages of small families. So the government institutions and non-government institutions should develop awareness about these aspects in people or in the society. Next one, is sex education necessary in schools? If so, why? So sex education should be encouraged in schools. So teachers should explain the various reproductive organ changes during adolescence. So at the time the children also free from the misconceptions of reproductive organs. And precautions, what type of precautions they should take during menstrual cycle. So similarly, abortion, pregnancy. So that's why, so we should encourage sex education in school. Do you think that reproductive health in our country has improved in the past 50 years? Yes. If yes, mention some such areas of improvement. In 1981, growth rate is 36%. In 2021, 22% growth rate. Similarly, that means in children, growth rate of human population. In 1971, life expectancy 50 years. In 2011, life expectancy 69,029 days. Life expectancy increases. So similarly, growth rate also decreases. Moreover, death rate in 1981, 13.4 death rate. In 2021, 6.4 death rate. So due to all-round development in all fields, in medicine, several effective drugs are available. So that's why, So in 1981, death rate 13.4, now 6.4. In 1971, life expectancy 50, now 69 years 29 days. In 1981, growth rate is 36. According to 2011 census, 22. Now the about 17%. So next year they are going to conduct again census. You already know in India census for every 10 years. What are the suggested reasons for population explosion? What are the suggested reasons for population explosion? The main reason for population explosion: maternal mortality rate decreases, infant mortality rate decreases, infant mortality rate decreases, lifespan, average lifespan increases. In 1971, average lifespan 50, but now 69.29, nearly 70. So lifespan increases, automatically population explosion. And in agriculture also, so self-sufficiency, we maintain self-sufficiency, abundant amount of food grains available, so no scarcity of food material is also another reason for population explosion. Next one, removal of gonads cannot be considered as contraceptive options. Why? If we remove the gonads, in male gonads are known as testes, in female gonads are known as ovaries. If we remove the gonads, permanent fertility capacity, so fertility capacity completely stopped. So the main goal of contraceptive is temporarily reduce the fertility rate, temporarily only. So they want a gap between the children. At the time they use contraceptive methods for 3 or 4 years. So once they wish to child, at the time they stop the contraceptive methods. Once they don't want further pregnancy, at the time they use surgical method or sterilization. So the main goal of contraceptive is not a complete lack of fertility rate. So temporarily reduce the fertility rate only. That's why removal of gonads not considered as a contraceptive method. You already know in barrier method, the barrier prevents the meeting of sperm and ovum. In case of IUDs, similarly in case of IUDs, injectables, implant, they avoid ovulation, implantation. So in this manner prevent fertilization, not prevent the release of gametes. Not release of gametes permanently. So temporarily they may stop. So that's why removal of gonads is not considered as a contraceptive method. Amniocentesis for sex determination is banned in our country. Is this ban necessary? Comment. So we should support the ban of amniocentesis for sex determination. So actually amniocentesis, by using this technique, they identify the genetic disorders. So if we allow to identify the sex determination, at the time they identify the sex of the not yet born baby. If the fetus is female, by using medical termination of pregnancy, they kill the female fetus, female feticide. To avoid female feticide, we should ban the amniocentesis for sex determination. What are the measures one has to take to prevent from contacting of STDs? Avoid sex with unknown person, use condoms. So once any person is feel that person is suffering from sexually transmitted diseases, so visit the hospital, and early medication is important. So what happened after several years, that person suffering from several problems throughout the life. So these are the some precautions to avoid STD Next one is the use of contraceptive justified? Give reasons. So by using contraceptive, that is the sixth question, by using contraceptive, prevent the population explosion and gap between the child. So by using contraceptive nowadays, so the people may avoid sexually transmitted diseases, mainly HIV. So the contraceptive, particularly barriers, prevent the sexually transmitted diseases. Next one is state true or false statement. Okay, one more is the 10th is suggest some method to assist infertile couple. So we already discussed in vitro fertilization, intrauterine transfer, or GIFT, zygote intrafallopian transfer, or GIFT, gamete intrafallopian transfer, or artificial insemination, or intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So these are the some methods to prevent infertility, or some methods to assist infertile couple. State true or false with explanation. Abortion could happen spontaneously too. Correct only. Infertility is defined as inability to produce a viable offspring and is always due to abnormalities, defect in the female partner. Wrong. Abnormalities may be male or female. Complete lactation could help as a natural method of contraception. Complete lactation could help as a natural method of contraception. So correct. Creating awareness about sex-related aspects is an effective method to improve reproductive health of the people. So correct. Next one, correct the following statement. Surgical method of contraception prevent gamete formation. Wrong. All sexually transmitted diseases are completely curable. Wrong. You already know genital herpes, HIV, hepatitis B are not completely curable. Oral pills are very popular contraceptive among the rural women. Wrong. So intrauterine devices are the more popular contraceptive. In embryo transfer technique, embryos are always transferred into the uterus. Wrong. Embryos may be transferred into the fallopian tube or uterus. So with this I complete reproductive health. Next class we discuss environmental issues.